All right, starting off, Coach. Cougars picking up back-to-back wins last week over Oregon State and UW. But from those matches, junior libero Alexis Greeny definitely stood out, picking up Defensive Player of the Week for the Pac-12. What can you say about we've talked about her all season, but she seems to elevate her game week in and week out, especially after last week. Just what can you say about her?
Yeah, first of all, a great honor. For any of our players to get a weekly honor in the Pac-12. There's so many great players, but Lex played really well last week. I think she is really hitting her stride here at the end of the season. And we've had lots of changes in the back row, with people being injured and people being moved around. And, she has done a really good job of just kind of leading the defense and, doing whatever she can. And, she was really putting it out there, especially against Washington, diving into the bleachers and running some people over. So really fun to see that, and just really happy for her to get that award.
And then, pretty much it's been announced already, Washington State hosting first two rounds of NCAA tournament here. Taking on Big Sky champions Northern Arizona first. But before, getting into that, first time hosting since 2001. Especially for you guys being on the road the past 2 years and postseason. How important is it for you, to finally be home for a postseason?
Well, it's huge, yeah. To not have to, pack the suitcase and get on an airplane, I think it makes a really big difference. So we're really happy about that. And we had talked, as a team, a lot of people returning. What did we want to do? And one of those goals that we had is we wanted to host. It was tough 2 years ago being sent to Wisconsin, very good team. We lost to them and then lost to Nebraska last year. You want to set yourself up as best you can for success. Now, not saying that these three other teams here aren't good. They are great. And really anybody, once you get into the tournament, has earned their way in, and they're fabulous teams. So, but it's nice to not have to travel anywhere. We sleep in our own beds. We're kind of in our normal weekly routine. Players don't have to miss, much class. So I think it makes a big difference.
And then, now focusing on NAU, team kind of resembles how we play a little bit. They've got over 300 blocks as a team, over 13 kills per set. For us, kind of a team that kind of plays like us a little bit, what are we going to have to do to, find some success against them?
Yeah, they're a very good team, playing really well right now. I think they've won, 13 in a row, beat Florida, early on in this season. And, for a team like that is used to winning a lot, that, they have a lot of confidence coming in, very well coached team. So, it will for sure be a battle. And it's always interesting this time of year. You're not real familiar with the teams you're playing, so it's a little bit more like the preseason, where we just have to try and get as much information as we can, and probably we'll have to make some in-game adjustments as well, and focusing just a little bit more probably on what we're doing on our own side of the net, and trying to be more consistent that way. But a very good team, and we're expecting them to come in and play well.
What are some of the things that you guys are focusing on for yourselves in preparation for NAU?
Yeah, no matter what, I think this time of year, it still really comes down to serve and pass, so we did a little bit of that yesterday. We'll focus on that the rest of the week. If we can serve really well like we did against Washington, it makes the other team, much more predictable. We can get our block going, set up our defense. So I think that's really important. But I also think that offensively, just, staying in rhythm and making sure that our setter, Ashley Brown, kind of knows the game plan and knows what we want to do, to try and, attack the weaknesses of the other team as well.
All right. And how, the last couple of years you guys have been in the tournament, but now you're hosting. So how do you balance enjoying the moment but also getting the job done?
I think it's definitely different being at home. There's maybe not as much, I don't know if it's hype or whatever, as we're arriving at, another hotel or, being in a different town that we've maybe never been in before. But I think to be at home, once it gets a little bit closer, I think just the hype of that is really, really fun for our players, and to be able to play in front of a home court, I think, is huge. But at the same time, it is kind of like any other weekend as far as, we are focused on our opponent and what we have to do. And I think that's sometimes easier to be able to do when you're at home and you're kind of in your own routine.